Hi, Sushi. Larry.
Hello.
Marge, good to see you here. Sarah Breed, good to see you.
Hello, everyone. Happy New Year.
Hi, Marge.
Hi.
Rico Rich, Tyler, JP, good to see you. Marshall Lee, good to see you here. They're coming in too fast now. I can't keep up. Greetings to all of you. Glad you could be here with us today. Steve Moore, good to see you. Tammy, hello, how are you?
Good to be here.
Hey, Dan, good to see you.
Great to see everybody. Appreciate it.
There's Cal Arter. Hey, Gwen.
Hi, Jack.
Hi,
Hey,
Kim,
everybody.
Erica, Kyle. Glad you all could be with us today.
Hi, thanks for having us back.
There's Gary Clark. Joelle's here. There's Pam Craven. Good to see you, Pam.
Hello. Happy New Year. Hi, Pam. Jack, I wanted to mention that Gary Clark and the CPS team put on an amazing march to the game for the Florida Tropics this weekend. So that's going to be a Lakeland tradition, we hope, but we were really appreciative of CPS for that.
Awesome. Hey, Michelle Ledford.
Hi, sorry I couldn't get to my unmute quick enough. How are you?
Oh, great. Deborah Boynton, see you out there driving around today. Be safe. Eyes on the road, please. Dr. Mike, good to see you, sir. Laura, thank you for being with us today. There's Doug Riley. How's it going, Chief?
Good, how are you?
Good. Hey, Cynthia Happy.
Jack, this is Michelle Ledford. I think you may need to tell some jokes to get this group going today.
Oh, you missed my earlier.
Quiet and
You missed
somber.
my Ohio State joke, so.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
We could
Maybe
get
we
Jim
don't need
Russell
any
to
more
tell some
jokes.
jokes.
We are not getting Jim Russell to tell any jokes.
Roll
It's an
Tide.
hour-long meeting.
I was just going to mention, I thought I saw Carol on TV last night at the game, but it was just.
I flew back on Saban's jet this morning.
Yeah. Mark Davies, good to see you here.
Hello, how are you doing?
Great.
Of course, you know why they had to put artificial turf in Legion Field that one year?
Why was that?
To keep the cheerleaders from grazing.
Oh,
I'm sure you mean the Auburn cheerleaders. That is the cow school.
Hey, Michelle, this is what you started.
Careful what you ask for, right?
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, Jack, you're dying over here, so I'm gonna go ahead and take over.
Thank God.
Thank you, Jack, for stepping in and doing the greeter services. Jack is the new operations manager with Circuit Breaker Sales. New is in brand new. And if you might imagine, Circuit Breaker Sales has something to do with me, so I expect lots of free lunches in my future, my friend. Jack is a 14-year Rotarian and a past president, and he's something about a 100th anniversary deal. So that was kind of a big deal during his presidency. Jack, thank you for doing the greeter services. Amanda, can we call this meeting to order, please?
Everyone is muted.
All right. All right, thank you. Our invocation, Pledge of Allegiance, and to recite the four-way test is going to be led by Tom Conger. Tom is about as retired as anyone I know, and he's just almost obnoxious about it too. So we kind of wish that you stop going on about it, Tom. You're killing us. Tom is a 14-year Rotarian and a past president. Tom, would you please lead us in the invocation?
Sure will. Please pray with me. Heavenly Father, we come to you in prayer today to thank you for this day and to thank you for the opportunity to serve others through Rotary, as it allows us to do for others what we can't do by ourselves. Lord, we pray for the end of this pandemic that has taken so many lives and has affected so many throughout our community, our country, and our world. Lord, we pray for peace and unity within our country. Help us and our leaders to find common ground to deal civilly with the issues that face us. Lord, we pray for the souls and families of the following members of our club that we lost last year: John Cannon, Larry Durrance, John Larson, Dr. Tom McLaughlin, Darwin Milligan. Lord, we raise up these prayers in your holy name. Amen. I invite you to join me in the pledge and encourage you to really focus on the words and their meaning. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please repeat with me the four-way test. Of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? President Joel?
Thank you, Tom. Very much appreciated. That was a great prayer. We do appreciate that. Standing in for Trey is one of my top 20 favorite attorneys, Amanda, and our communications chair, to do our introduction of guests and visiting Rotarians.
Thank you, Joel. Is there anybody who has a guest? Please call it out. I didn't see anybody.
Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Amanda, it's Mark Skolnick, and I have three guests today. I have past district governor from District 7950 in Massachusetts, who served with several of my other Rotary friends, Steve Silverman, and his Rotarian wife, Amy, who was on the RILA committee in that district, which is the same as our 4STL, and I want to give them a warm welcome. The other guest I have is Irma Cole, who's on the district public image committee for this district, along with Linda Jazad and Larry Becker of our club. And I want to welcome all of those. Thank you.
Very good. Welcome to those visiting Rotarians. Anybody else have a guest? All right, that's That's it. Thanks for being with us today.
All right. Thank you, Amanda. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Joel Ivy, and we're so glad you could all be here with us. And it's a new year, and we hadn't been together for a couple of weeks, so I kind of forgot what I'm supposed to be doing. So bear with me. Next up, we have Happy Dollars. I can only imagine that we're going to hear from past President Carol. But Carol, go ahead. Let's get this over with. Unmute.
Okay, you know it's coming. Roll Tide. I am really proud of my Alabama team for their victory, not only for last night winning the national championship, but for the whole season. It was really unprecedented, even for Alabama. We won 10 games, all of our games, all SEC games, and then beat Notre Dame. I'm sure we have some Notre Dame fans in the club in the semifinals. And then last night, condolences to Don and Amanda, but thank you for a great team and a great opponent. And also a shout out because we've won 6 national championships in the last 12 years under Saban's leadership. So Roll Tide forever. Thank you.
Congratulations, Carol.
Mr. President, this
sorry.
is Don. I have a happy. I'm happy that Ohio State held Alabama to only 52 points last night. I send my congratulations to JJ, Weeks, and Carol for what easily is one of the most powerful football teams we've seen in college football. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Laura Adams, were you about to chime in?
Yeah, I was going to second to Carol's and Happy Dollar. Also, the Heisman went to Alabama this year. It was the first time that there were 3 top 4 finalists, all from one school for the Heisman, and that came to us too. So Roll Tide.
Excellent. Is there any non-Alabama Happy Dollars out there?
Well, I have one, but it's still football themed. Is that okay?
That's okay.
I think it might be all of the Browns fans that jinxed the Ohio State fans, because could we get lucky enough to have the Browns have a historic win on back-to-back days with an Ohio State victory? No, but as a long-suffering Cleveland Browns fan, I was so glad to see many horrible records get shattered on Sunday night when they won their first playoff game since I was a junior in high school.
It's awesome.
I hate to have to follow that, being a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, but I do have a non-football Happy Dollar. Our oldest son for many years has been a member of Rotary Club number 14 in Lincoln, Nebraska. Our youngest son just recently moved south of Columbus, Ohio to Lancaster. And yesterday, for the first time, he attended his first Rotary Club meeting. So I'm hopeful that I'll have 2 sons in Rotary Club.
Fantastic. Thank you, Dr. Mike.
President Joel, this is Janice. As Jack mentioned when I first came on, I am officially retired as of January 1st of this year. Woohoo! So trying to find ways to keep myself busy so I'll stay out of my husband's hair, who's still working from home.
Talk to Tom Conger. He's got some ideas for you, I'm sure.
As soon as I can travel, I'm heading to see the grandbaby, but I can't travel right now.
Excellent. It's excellent. Any other Happy Dollars?
President Joel, this is Michelle Ledford.
Sorry.
Hey, Michelle.
Sorry, just get non-football Happy Dollar, but over the holidays, my husband and I celebrated our 23-year anniversary, and we're still happy.
Congratulations, you're just getting started.
I have a Happy Dollar.
Yeah.
We had our daughter and her husband and our grandbaby, and that's the most important part, here for about 3 weeks during the holidays. And I tell you, that kid just is a gift. It's just so much fun to be around them. And then my mom just turned 97 on January 1st, and she's still doing great. So 2 Happy Dollars.
Fantastic. That's neat. Grandkids are certainly a blessing for all of us that have them, at least. I sure love mine.
I have a Happy Dollar, President
Melody.
Joel. Yes, I would like to say that my daughter Savannah is gainfully employed at her first job last week. Yay for me, so I can stop paying for Chick-fil-A. So I'm very happy about that.
Isn't she only a freshman in high school?
Yeah, she's 15. That's okay.
Okay, child labor laws are in here somewhere. So.
She's good. She's good.
I have a happy dollar. This is Linda Jazard.
Hi, Linda.
I traveled to Scandinavia to visit my 84-year-old mother who hasn't been doing too well. And I'll tell you, traveling in the time of COVID is another experience. So I'm glad to be home again. And that's
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Any other happy dollars? Well, this is a happy group today. We haven't seen each other in a good long time, obviously. I stepped through a couple of announcements. Dr. Mel, I guess, would you do an update on spring obsession?
Yes, sir. I'd be happy to. We are the committee. Thank you, committee members, are working very, very hard. Jessica and I are updating all the marketing, so you should be getting that and seeing it on Facebook. So please like. We'll be updating that as we go. We have, I believe, is Matt, are you on? I didn't see. I know we are pacing very well for our sponsorship, but we would always love more to meet our goal. And everything's going along really, really well. We're going to go out to Lake Crago, do a little field trip this weekend. So thank you. I mean, not this weekend, Thursday. And the vendors are coming in. I think it's going to be a very, very special, great, unique event. So we're very excited about it.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for your good hard work, and to Matt Schickel as well for all the great things you and the committee are doing. We had a great fellowship event last week at 1961. Jack, thank you for helping to put that together. Dr. Mel, thank you for doing a lot of the legwork to make sure that that happened. We had a great time. We had a great crowd too. So for those of you that weren't able to join, sorry that we missed you, but it certainly was a good time. It's so great to get to see everybody too. Even Jack Loman.
We'll do it again soon.
Okay. All right. I wanted to get an update on how the VistiBox delivery system went. I asked Tyler if he wouldn't mind just giving us kind of a closeout on that. Tyler, are you with us?
I am. Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. President. Quick update on Visti delivery. Everything went really well. Our group, we delivered over 115 boxes to people throughout Polk County. So just want to take a second and thank everybody who was a part of that and who graciously volunteered even amidst COVID and all the challenges that we faced this year. It's really says a lot about our club. Also wanted to give a big thanks to Par Sahoda and his team for all their help with organizing this and helping us move boxes to the pickup location. We couldn't have done it without him. So thanks everybody.
Great. Tyler, thank you so much for stepping up and taking the lead role for that. That's a big deal for this club. We certainly appreciate you. All right, we're going to move into the program. It's going to be introduced by our own Don Selvage. Don is the president of SHR Human Resources. He's a part-time on and off city commissioner, on and off. He's a 20-year Rotarian and a past president and just great for this city. So Don, would you mind introducing our program, please?
Thank you, President Joel. A few years ago, a group of us approached the city of Lakeland and the commission in support of finding a way to build a history center or a cultural and history center for the city. We were able to persuade the city commission to fund building a culture and history center as part of the main library renovations. That was a year effort. And then this last year, we've gone into the phase of community outreach and telling people about the project. And we were very privileged to get Gal Fields to be our chair. And it's a cliche, but this is a man who probably doesn't need introductions, but some things you may not know. Mayor Fields was born in Lakeland, and he's married to Kay. They have 3 children. He's a graduate of Kathleen Senior High School, where he played a mean second base, I think. Polk State College, formerly Polk Community College, the University of South Florida, and he holds a master's degree in business administration from Nova Southeastern University. He is the president and CEO of Fields & Company, Inc., doing business as Fields Insurance and Financial Group. Gal became a member of the Lakeland City Commission in May of 1992. He served as a commissioner until he was elected and sworn in as mayor in January 2010, completing his service in 2014. He is past president of the Florida League of Mayors. He has been inducted into the Polk County Public Schools Hall of Fame, the Kathleen High School Hall of Fame, and he's received the Distinguished Alumni Award for Kathleen High School and for Polk State College. In February of 2019, the Lakeland Chamber of Commerce recognized him as the 2019 recipient of the prestigious George Jenkins Award, Lakeland's highest community service award, named in honor of the founder of Public Supermarkets. Gal has agreed to go on the speakers tour for us to talk about the Lakeland History and Culture Center. So it's my privilege to turn it over to the Honorable Mayor Gal Fields.
Thank you very much, Don. It was an impressive introduction. I probably don't deserve all of that, but I appreciate you being kind to me nonetheless. And Amanda, I know you offered to be my backup on running the presentation. I think I'm going to let you do that because you're much better at it than I am. Is that okay? All right, thank you, Amanda. As Don was sharing with you on the Lakeland History and Culture Center and how it began, would just share and add to that a little bit is that this is not the first attempt by the city of Lakeland for those who are interested in history to create a museum and at least get a start. There have been a few different efforts over the past 35 years that all stopped and started at some point, and generally money and location had quite a bit to do with it. And so if you go to the next slide, Amanda, there's been an opportunity to fix both of those. And with the city commission making available the opportunity to go into the library, you know, we're going to have a chance to establish one location to capture all of Lakeland's history. And as we're fond of saying, Lakeland is one community made up of many different stories. And one of the challenges that we faced as a community is that not very many people know or have a great awareness of Lakeland's unique history. Those families that have been a part of Lakeland for a long time and have contributed to that history, they know it and know it well, but many others do not. We've also seen over the years that there's a severe lack of understanding of what contributions have been made in creating what Don Selvage commonly refers to as the quilted fabric that represents what Lakeland is today. The various ethnicities, cultures, and races have contributed quite a bit at different points in time in Lakeland's development. And so we see this as an opportunity to help do a better job of telling Lakeland's story and bringing forth and telling those stories in a thoughtful and engaging manner so that we learn more about our community, learn more about one another, and gain a greater appreciation for all that has gone into building Lakeland into what it is today. Next slide, Amanda. There are a number of historical museums around the county, from Lake Wells to Frostproof to Bartow, and the largest is our county historical museum. But one thing that's been noticeably missing is there isn't one in Lakeland. And Lakeland has quite a bit to contribute to telling about the history of this county, as well as about Central Florida and how communities like Lakeland came into being and contributed to not only the history here, but also to Florida's history. Next slide. I'm about to say earlier this year, excuse me, we're in 2021, Mr. Fields. In last year's budget cycle, the City Commission appropriated $300,000 to construct the History and Culture Center there at the library. Currently, we have at the library a special collections room where there's quite a bit of history that anyone wants to engage in. There's a lot that has been recorded digitally. including oral history accounts. And there's a renovation project that is underway, that'll begin underway shortly at the library, to add to that special collection space and to create 1,400 square feet of space for the History and Culture Center. And as Don was talking about, the advisory committee that he and others thought I could contribute to this effort by chairing was chartered to guide this process. And part of what we're having to do is to raise the money to help fund the displays and the technology aids and all the things that will go into thoughtfully presenting and sharing with the public Lakeland's history. And the commission is putting all of their money into the physical improvements of the space and creating the shell for us. In our next slide, you can see our architect, John Kirk's, his conceptual vision for what the space is going to look like before we begin putting in the actual physical display material. And this is going to give us a chance to share those many stories that have made Lakeland very unique. And he's done a very good job so far listening to us and taking into account the various things that we believe needs to be a part of this as we're getting our feet wet in a new area for us. Fundraising in this manner is something new for both Don and I, but he convinced me that I needed to help him in this regard. And he told me I'd be able to score a few brownie points with Joel Ivy and keep him in my corner. Our partner in this effort is the GiveWell Community Foundation, and Laura Martini is one of your members, and she emailed me earlier this week to make sure that I was on my best behavior in doing this presentation today. So I know she's watching me closely. Amanda, our next slide. Here's the committee. You've got two of your members that are actually part of it, Rick Maxey and Don Selvage. Don is our vice chair, heading up the effort to do the fundraising. Lou Ann Mims she and her team are working on the actual display and what we'll do in the initial exhibit that is going to be presented. And we're looking to do that by the spring of 2022. And we have been pleased to have a lot of excitement from those who've come on board to be involved. And, we love all the help that we're getting. Every time we ask a rookie question of Laura Martini, she and her team assure us that this is going to go better than we think it will, because we've got a lot of people who love history and they love doing projects that are special and unique to Lakeland. And this is going to be one of them. So she has helped us, along with some others, to feel really good about it. If you go to our next slide. And this is how we're actually organized from everyone on the committee. As I said, Don is heading up the community outreach portion, which includes our fundraising, which we have began doing as a soft introduction. And we're strategizing on how we're going to go about approaching both individuals for some larger gifts as well as companies. We'll ask organizations to contribute as well. And then at the same time, we've got our exhibit planning team working on what our initial exhibit is going to do. And it is going to highlight the railroad's role in bringing people to Lakeland and the actual creation and development of Lakeland as a city. And so we're excited about how that's going to be done in a thoughtful manner to focus on the people and not so much on the railroad, but using that to tell the story of how the people came here and what they did to lay the initial foundation for Lakeland's development. And then as time goes by, the exhibits will be updated so that we can focus on a different area over time. And then our next slide. And as I mentioned, the GiveWell Community Foundation is our partner in doing this. Laura Martini and her team have already set up an account under the City of Lakeland Parks and Rec Fund, so that those that want to make a donation, they can go to givecf.org/donate, and they can actually make a donation to the City of Lakeland Parks and Recreation LHCC Fund. For those who have other organizations that you believe would be good for us to make a presentation to, please feel free to share that with Don so that we can have a chance to speak with them. or you could reach out to me directly, and we're happy to do that. We'll love to take any questions that you have. I know there was a comment in the chat. Someone said that the layout there and the design looks like it's bigger than 1,400 square feet. I'm glad he made it look bigger than that. That'll help us to raise a little bit more money and get us off to a great start. But he told us that's what it'll be for the display space there. And I'm not sure how much the entrance into the space is going to add to the physical look and feel of it. But as we get a chance to take a closer look at the detailed drawings, Don and I'll probably have a better feel for that as we get other questions as we move along in this process. Joel, if there are any questions from anyone, I would be happy to take them at this time.
I see one question from Gwen in the chat box. Gwen Allen, how do you plan to do you plan to incorporate any artwork to complement or facilitate the storytelling?
That is a great question. Probably would. What we've been asking be considered is any historical artifacts that people have that they're willing to loan to the library. There's a process that they will go about doing that, whether it was loaned to us or made available, that they could digitize information from it. And I'm sure if there are pieces of art that would help with a display, Lou Ann Mims and her team, they have the legal documents to do a proper loan so that it can be made available for a period of time and then returned back to the families or the owners. But Lou Ann would be the person we want them to make known that artwork so that if it helps in telling the story, by all means, we're happy to do that and make that a part of the display.
Great. The next question is from Martha Liu, and she wants to know if this is going to actually be an addition to the library or just a reconfiguration of existing spaces.
It's a reconfiguration of the existing spaces. We're not moving the exterior walls, but we're moving some internal walls around.
Okay, good. And Joel says that he hopes that the museum will include a little bit of history of his uncle, Lawton Childs, who lived on Lake Morton and served as the U.S. Senator and a 2-term Florida governor.
I would say absolutely. Not in our first exhibit, but as we continue to update and freshen the exhibits, there's going to be opportunities to tell about some of the major contributions that have occurred emanating here out of Lakeland. Not only what people contributed to Lakeland, but how they impacted the region, the state, and our country. And that's why it's important for us to get off to a good start on our fundraising so that we have the ability to do this first exhibit and do it well, and then be able to demonstrate to people what we'll be able to do as we bring new exhibits online and have a chance to have different focus areas. But great question, and thanks, Joel.
Amanda, this is Don. I'd also like to add that my interest in this project emanated from our own Willie Wolfson in Lakeland Rotary. Willie, as we all know, was a great storyteller, and I love to listen to Willie's account of growing up in Lakeland in the 30s, the World War II, and the post-war raising of families. And from that, I discovered other stories in Lakeland that are so unique, whether it's the Jewish community, the African Americans, the Cuban Americans. There's so many things that have gone in to building this great city. I am a relatively new transplant, only been here 21 years, but there are so many, like for example, Joel brought up Lawton Childs. My gosh, what a tremendous national story. I think I was overseas when I first heard about this guy walking across Florida in his boots running for governor. And he came right here from Lakeland. So there's so many stories to be told. And so that's why we decided to go with a cultural and history center and to tell story, make sure everybody's story is told over time. And it's just a great endeavor. We'd like to think this is the first step, that maybe 20 or 30 years from now, we'll have something that rivals the Tampa History Center. So this is, we hope, is the first step in recognizing and paying tribute to those who've gone before us. Thank you.
Thanks, Don. Tom Conger would like to know, what is the fundraising goal that your committee has?
Our initial goal is 150,000 to be able to do the initial exhibit. And as Don was touching on, we want to make sure that we do a good job on getting started and launching this effort. It's not our vision to remain in the library long term. Long term, if we do this right, we can have the support to be able to be into a freestanding space and be able to have more things on permanent display as you do some of the other exhibits that you alternate out over time. And I would also add, there's an opportunity now to record oral history. We don't want to wait to do that. So there's things that we can make available to Luann and her team to do oral history, and her to do the interview in the way that it needs to be done, to preserve things now so that when there's a chance to highlight it more so later, the material will already be present. So for anyone that has history within their family, you know, families that are rich in what they've contributed to this community for a long time, like the Ruthven family, and not just in Joel's uncle Lawton Childs, but also in his father and what they contributed to the community. That oral history can be recorded now. We don't have to wait until there's a special exhibit around that. And so the staff is prepared to do that now, as they've already been doing, so that they'll have that material later when there's a special focus or exhibit to use it around. We have no problem going beyond that initial goal of 150,000, so that we'll already have in place the funds to begin planning the next exhibit after the first one. But I'm hoping that answers the question. But it is important for us, though, to get off to a great start, to demonstrate that there's a lot of support to a broad cross-section of people in the community for this.
Okay, the questions are coming in fast now. Will you pursue collaborations with other organizations to expand programs and tell the humanities-based stories? That's from Cynthia Haffey. Will you pursue?
I would say yes. You know, we're on our committee, we have individuals representing different organizations now that have an interest in that. And certainly we want to have as much feedback and input as we can possibly get so that we can do the best job we can on telling those stories.
And Gwen wants to know if you are able to release any of the details of the story idea that we be told in the first exhibit.
We'll probably have to have some professional help so that we do the right amount of teasing and introducing leading up to that initial exhibit and the gala that we'll plan to launch it. We don't want to tell too much, but right now I have just enough information to be dangerous, but not enough to be super interesting on that first exhibit.
So I guess the answer to that question is yes, but not yet.
Yes, but not yet. That's correct. And we're going to need some thoughtful people to help Don and I with how we do that. You don't want us to plan it.
So I don't know if you know this or not, Gal, but our Lori Martini, I guess it might be the holder of the treasure, but our club had an interview with Willie Wolfson that Don referenced earlier, and it's hilarious. It's a wonderful story about the Christmas tree that was floating in the middle of Lake Morton. And, you know, we still have it lit up now, but the original tree was lit by hand and it was candles. And there's just a fabulous story about the disaster that happened with that tree. And we do have that recorded that could become part of the oral history. An original video, Lori says, yeah.
Luann Mims was mentioned by Gal, and she handles the archives at the library. And she is a treasure. She has collected and still collecting oral histories and other artifacts I was astonished at how much work she and her colleagues have done to collect the archives of this city. And there are others as well. In Florida Southern, there are oral histories of the Jewish community, of the Citrus Hall of Fame. So what we have here is all of this stuff around. If you go into the Peterson and Myers building, Amanda, you see pictures of Lakeland in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, and we need to capture that. So yes, I think I personally have Willie's interview about the Christmas tree.
Okay.
Yeah, do you, or Don, do you anticipate having tours or something to try to generate a little more notice and interest in these kind of things? I heard you mention a gala, but can people stop by and start going through at any point?
Well, if I may, one of the people who are helping us is Ray Allen, our own Gwinnell's husband at Southeastern, and he is handling our social media, and Kevin Cook at the city is handling our website. But we are going to be asking Ray and his students who are working with this to document the story of the building. And so as the architect comes in, we hope that we can generate interest through following the social media tracking of the actual building of the site. And so we're hopeful that we'll be able to generate a buzz about it as we build it.
Good.
And we can probably also add at some point a virtual tour of what it'll look like as we build the following for it. But those are some things that we would have to do. But physically allowing people there before it's finished, no. But we could certainly give them the next best thing, and what Don described of documenting the progress, and then at some point probably interjecting an opportunity for a virtual tour.
And let me say too, Gal said, well, we got Selvage and Fields running this thing right now. And it came to our stark realization that, do we know what we're doing here? Like, I never knew what it took to build a museum. Displays, movable walls, IT. And neither Gal nor I has raised money. So in amounts like this. So we've been going to experts, and so we invite all of you, if you've got an idea, say, hey, you ought to think about doing this. What do you think? Or somebody we can go to. We are just, in our committee, are passionate about the cause. And so we want to do it right and treat everybody fairly and with dignity. And so please send us your recommendations for how we can make it better.
To add on to Don's point, in getting started, although we've seen this in other museums that we have visited, on our own over time, it didn't dawn on us to have, an opportunity for sponsorships at different levels and recognizing them on a wall. And so we had some committee members who introduced us to that, or reintroduced us to that concept so that we could engage it here. So that's one of the things John Kirk is working on designing, is how we actually recognize different sponsorship levels in the entranceway coming in, so that we can do that in a manner that demonstrates gratitude, but encourages people to give at a different level. So that'll be part of what we'll be introducing to the community. And, for example, if someone gave a $500 gift today, but they wanted to be recognized at $1,000 or $2,500 level later, there'll be an opportunity for them to go back and add to it and be able to get that recognition, either as an individual or for someone they wanted to honor, or for an organization. So we are teachable is the main point here. We're coachable and teachable.
And to that point, Rick Maxey, I want another shout out to a Rotarian. He introduced his daughter to me from Tallahassee, who ran a similar campaign in Orlando. And she has been a tremendous help in giving us ideas. So we're all pitching in and we're looking for more teammates.
Any other questions?
Not really, just lots of great ideas about people and potential exhibit ideas. So I'd encourage Don and Gal to both review the chat box and collect up those ideas that people are throwing out there.
Okay. All right, good deal. Mayor, thank you so much for joining us and having this discussion about the new Cultural and History Center. That's going to be a really great addition to this community and probably well overdue, as I think we've already talked about. I've got this one-of-a-kind Rotary book that I'm going to get to you, Mayor, so that the recognition for you agreeing to speak, it's autographed, which hardly anybody has one of. And I know that you're going to be jonesing it and everybody else is going to be wanting it. So you're going to have to guard it with your life.
Well, you got to promise me that you're going to deliver it in person. I'll wear my mask, but you got to deliver it in person, okay? Or maybe we can meet for coffee or something.
As long as you're buying lunch, I'm in.
Okay, all right. You're a tough negotiator still, I see.
And for the record, so that you and Don would know, I don't know what I'm doing either, but look at me. Here I am. So we're all in this together. Certainly. Amanda, would you mind thanking our guests and visiting Rotarians, please?
It would be my pleasure. Amy and Steve Silverman, thank you for joining us today. And Irma, as always, a pleasure to have you with us.
Okay, thank you. Our weekly quote: we should feel empowered by where we came from and who we are and not hide it. That's from Warren Morgan Richards. I think that's very appropriate for what we're talking about. Our next week's program is going to be Kimberly Moore. She works with the Ledger, but she's also written a book. It is called The Astronaut and the Love Triangle. And it's rated PG. Absent any protests to the contrary, I'm going to call this meeting adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Have a great day.